Greetings, Newton24 here, bringing you a brand new series we have right now on Minecraft Stoneworks Rathnir, maybe on Eldham in the future, depending on how it does. So, in this video series, we are going to go different markets around Rathnir and speak to the owners, see how they run things, get their opinion about the future, and just learn more about the markets. And at the end of the video, there'll be a rating and see how the markets are in the future. Hopefully, collectively, when we have enough markets under our belts, I can see what the best one is, and I can make an objectively rank list. But anyways, let's get straight into the video. With an interview with the owner of the Enchanted Eye Untitled. Hello. So I understand you are the owner of the Enchanted Eye?
Yep, that's correct.
Interesting. What made you get into, like, the mercantile side of things in Stoneworks?
So I started off as a builder, but one of my friends, who's from the same city, actually owned the Enchanted Eye first, and when he quit Stoneworks, he left it to me, and I've just been continuing it on ever since.
Interesting, so it's not really anything direct, just circumstance.
Yeah, I was already the chief of finance for a law bar, so I decided to, take on this shop after the owner decided to quit because I didn't see anyone else stepping up, so yeah.
Nice. So I understand that the Spawn shop was not the first Enchanted Eye. What made you move the main business, well, another business, to Spawn?
Right, so I saw with the Astalia taking over the GD and kicking out Market 55, I saw an opportunity, and I opened up a shop. I made a bunch of block shops similar to Market 55, because before I'd only sold armor and gear, and enchanted books and stuff like that, but I decided to just sell as much as I could and kind of replicate what Market 55 had, and it's worked out pretty well.
It has, but I understand, like, finances for you can be struggling sometimes, considering I've bankrupted you 4 times. So,
Yeah.
How do you stay afloat, is my question.
Well, yeah, at first, I made so many mistakes, and, like, I would just go in, make a shop, and instead of selling a stack of XP for 3,000, I'd sell 1 XP for 3,000, and then someone would just bankrupt me. That happened.
That's just
twice.
me. I did that to you twice.
Yeah, that happened, and I was like, oh, that really sucks, but I just changed it, and then, as I got more experience in the whole business, I haven't gone bankrupt in a while, and it's worked out.
How much, like, you understand you had the shop beforehand, but when it came to the Spawn shop, how long did it take for you to gain, like, an actual profit, would you say?
It took, I'd say, a month and a half. I kind of put all my money that I had into it, and all my blocks, all that stuff, and I started off with just my stuff, and then there was a large portion of time, like a month, where I was just making as much money on the side, doing, like, building, because that's what I started off doing on Stoneworks, and basically buying inventory and buying stock with that money. And now that I have, like, a lot of stock and I have enough money for people to always be able to sell stuff to me for the most part, it's more self-sustainable. Now I'm making more of a profit after all of that.
Speaking of stock, I believe I have, definitely, and other people, I know not as recently because, as you said, it's gotten more stable, but in the beginning, how did you manage stock? Because Market 55, as the prime example, he didn't really manage stock because it was the main market for the entire server, so it constantly generated its own stock. How are you currently regenerating your own stock?
Yeah, exactly. Like with Market 55, people were always selling to him, buying from him. But when I started my shop, people were only buying from me, so I was just losing all of my blocks, and I was making some profit off the blocks, but you don't really make that much profit off of the blocks as much as you do the other things in the shop. So I would just have no blocks, and I'd have, like, my armor, my gear, the stuff that I've been selling before, Uh, but I just kept selling enchanted books mostly and armor, and that allowed me to get more money. And I've gone in and I buy for a lot of money, so I always have some blocks, even if they're expensive to buy. And then recently, I've been going like to people directly who I know have a bunch of stock, and getting suppliers and stuff like that. So between those two things, that's how I've managed to get more stock.
Interesting way of going at it with a more direct approach compared to other markets. That is going to build more relations for you, I believe, and that's going to be a better long-term goal, long-term effect. So that's a very, very nice strategy, I believe.
Yeah. And I've also brought on some people to sell more specific things. Like, I brought on Fathom to sell brews and cheeses, because I don't know like anything about that, but he's done really well with that. I've had other people sell written books, like have written book shops, potion shops, animal shops, just everything that I don't really have that much of, that I can have more stock without having to manage all of that myself.
Yeah, I've seen your animals. I remember when the day I became a farmer, there was like 2 cows, and like the next day there was like the whole pen was full. So I really see your farm, not your farm, your animals have been an emerging business, I see.
And something that's come from Alar, that people in Alar have made a lot of money off of, is selling Arctic foxes, and I've continued to do that.
You have Arctic foxes?
Yeah, Arctic foxes, because they're breedable, but not many people have them. So you can make a lot of them, sell them for a decent amount, and make a lot of profit that way.
Well, when eventually someone will just buy 2 and then breed them and sell them for that lower price.
Yeah, that happened once, and it was another citizen of the town I'm in bought one, and then stole another one, because we only sell one at a time. To try to prevent that. But, you know, it's inevitable that something like that will happen. So, I don't want to say too much, but the Arctic Fox cartel got to him.
Alright.
Yeah.
I have ideas of my own experiences about what happened to that man. So, as someone who I would say is in the know of the I know English, of the economical side of Stoneworks, where do you think the real future of Stoneworks economy-wise is?
Well, I mean, we've seen recently with the Imperius pawn shop that the Discord markets are doing really well. And, like, I personally bought stuff from Imperius, and they're good prices, and, like, I think that works really well. Even, it was so good the Stoneworks made a video about it. I think that there's definitely more market strategies, especially with the changes to LA spawns, where people can now make, you know, shops way off in the distance where no one has access to them, but then lure people into LA spawning with great prices and just make their money off the LA spawns. I've seen that work. So I don't know,
but then with the issue of LA spawn, you come up with the issue that it's on a cooldown and it's a 2k cost. I understand that you have a policy if you return to 2k, which I agree that is going to be a really nice draw in for people. But for people that make multiple trips, I understand that's not your problem, that's an admin problem. But LA spawn, I would tweak it a bit, in my opinion, to just have it 2k every time, but no cooldown.
Yeah, no, the cooldown can definitely be annoying. And I find myself trying to LA spawn to places and running into that cooldown as well. That's why for shops that do make money off the LA spawn, what they usually end up doing is they will keep some stuff in stock, and then, but not all of their stock. They'll put some stock in all of their stuff, advertise like crazy, get it all sold, wait a couple hours, and do the same thing again.
Have you partake in this strategy?
I've tried to introduce it a little bit, where I'll like, sell netherite really cheap, and then
I've seen that.
advertise
It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't work as well as I've seen it work for other people, just because, for two reasons. I would say one, because 0-0 you can get there rather easily without LA spawning, and then also because my shop is popular enough where people already have homes set right outside the shop. So as soon as I do that, I get people like Cloak and like just all the regulars that come to my shop. They just instantly show up and buy it, and I don't make any money off the LA
So
spawn.
what would you tell people that want to make a market of their own on Stoneworks?
I would say for people trying to make a market of their own, that you definitely need to have an original idea. It doesn't have to be super original, because markets are markets, but just something that would bring in customers, like low prices or stock or something that other markets just aren't selling.
What would you say your like gimmick or thing is?
I would say that the Enchanted Eye currently has a lot of stock, and we also sell, or we buy stuff from people for high prices. So people trying to make money can just take whatever they have in their junk chests and sell it to us, and then a smaller amount of people come and buy it from us. But when they buy it in bulk. So just the accessibility of it, where people can easily get to 0-0, and there's a reason for them to come. I think that all helps.
Nice. So I understand that you were not the person who came up with this market, but the person who originally owned the market, do you know why it was named the Enchanted Eye?
Yeah, so it started in Alar, which is a city in Huitka, and that city was not founded because of this, but it was founded on top of Ender Portal, and the original owner of the shop was one of the first people in Alar, so he claimed the End Portal and then just built his business around it and kind of branded around it.
Which, looking to the right above that sandstone mound, is the end portal being referred to. Am I correct?
Yes.
Alright. So, do you have any big plans for the future at the moment that you can share?
Right now, I have put into my LA balance a ton of around $300,000, split between LA balance and gold, and I have orders where I'm buying just a bunch of stuff from people for pretty cheap because of how much I'm buying, and then I'm just gonna try to stock up as much as I can to try to get prices even lower, and hopefully that will help the shop.
But what limit is what happens when prices are too low?
Well, when prices are too low, people are just going to come in and instantly buy all my stock, which is going to kind of suck. But I think if I can keep it stocked as much as I can, even though people will come and buy it all, they'll see that the prices are that low when they buy it, and that will bring them back again. And if I can keep the stock low, keep a bunch of people seeing or not the stock low, but the price is low, and keep people seeing that the price is low, they'll just keep coming back.
Seems smart. So, when it comes to her competitors in other markets in the world, what do you see other markets that take your customers, not take, other markets that share your customers? How do you see other markets, basically?
Well, I mean, I'd say that my biggest competitors are Home Depot, especially. We sell most of the same stuff. And the way I look at Home Depot is it has good armor, good netherite armor, which I've recently started to sell, but he's been in the business for longer. Cloak is more knowledgeable about all that, so he does have good netherite armor. He has decent armor, good enchanted stuff, kind of the stuff that I started off doing. But when it comes to his building blocks and all that kind of stuff, it's always out of stock, so I don't have to worry about that too much. And
Alright.
then with shops like Imperius, which is super popular now, again, they don't sell like building blocks really. So, there aren't major competitors that have the building blocks, but I am seeing that new shops are popping up, like Aldi's coming back. I don't know if you heard about that.
I have.
Yeah.
They're on my list.
I mean, yeah, he definitely could introduce a new market that could rival my blocks and all that. And then Shark is also opening up a market, not near 0-0, but I've checked it out, and from what he's told me, he definitely has a lot of stock, and that could prove to be good competition.
So, as it's been stated, the Astilian takeover 55. So understand that a person known as King is now the official owner of the building. What do you think of him and the way he now runs that place? Because I know they've lost a dramatic amount of business in recent times.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with Market 55 much. I know that King is taking a break from politics and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's going to be a lot more hands-off. But just in general, Market 55 has lost all of their stock. And I'd say that's... I've done stuff to make sure that they lose all their stock, as well as other people. Just as like a sign of like going against, the nations trying to control the economy and stuff like that. Like I sold them probably $300,000 worth of packed ice, because you know how Tremine had all those high prices. Well, they just replicated them, but they had no stock in packed ice. So I sold all those packed ice and just bought out their entire stock. And I know other people did that too. So really, when you go to Market 55, if you're trying to sell stuff, you can make some money, but there's really no stock and no one uses that shop anymore. And I know that King might be a partial owner, but the person who holds all of the shop chests is Torin, I think. And that was an improvement, because when they first started Market 55 under Astelia's control, I don't know who owned it, but they did not have enough money, and he went bankrupt in like 4 hours or something like that.
I'm pretty sure it was King that originally had it before Torrens, because I remember seeing his name on signs.
It might have been King, but I do remember there was someone else who was like, I'd never heard of him, and he was just bankrupt.
So, as we talked about nations' influence on economics, I understand you have stated that you are chief finance of Hyutka. So, would you say, has Hyutka and its government had any effect on the economy and the way you do business?
Well, currently I'm not chief of finance for Hyutka. I am still the chief of finance for Alar, which is the city, and I have been chief of finance for Hyutka, but right now I'm not. But back to your question, I don't think that Hyutka has had much of an impact on the market or anything like that. The thing about Hyutka is that they don't like the economy control. The government doesn't have much of. But I know that people from Hyutka, like Necro and other citizens, definitely impact the economy a lot with their businesses. So I don't think from Hyutka, I don't think there's much economic control, but I think a lot of the citizens are pretty powerful, I guess, when it comes to that.
Believe me, I've seen Necro's pages of documents.
Yeah, he's very in-depth.
I don't believe I have any more questions for you. Is there any more statements you would like to make?
Just come shop at Enchanted Eye. That's it.
And where is it located?
The chords are 0, -60, and then the LA spawn is Enchanted Eye, all one word.
Interesting. So yes, people, if you made it this far into the video, please check out the Enchanted Eye. I recommend it greatly after my own experiences and talks with Untitled. I'm going to judge a market on a 1 to 5 star system consisting of 3 categories. interior, stock, and prices. And then those 3 will be added up out of a score of 15, and the market will be given an out of 15 score, which will then be presented to the owner. Honestly, I'd have to give the interior and building of the Enchanted Eye sadly a very low level, just because I see great like future plans here with this like big wall design they want to go and big thing, and this just area alone probably wants me to give like a 1 or a 0, but this is propped up by this. This is really nice building here. I like the detail. It's a glowing bottle, and with that, it's really just most people in business would say open floor plan. When I look at it, it's just an incomplete building. The Shrek does give it a lot, though. I think the Shrek does give it a +1. So unfortunately, I will have to give it a 1 star on the interior. Looking around more, I know all of these chests. Let me look. I can't look in these, but I can look in the farm ones, apparently. So, looking at all of them, as we spoke to him, we know that almost all of these are guaranteed to be full, so that's fine. XP price? He has a decent XP price. Looking at prices, other thing, I think his diamond price. He has a good netherite price, 15k. It's fine. What's that, 15k? Yeah, it's 15k. Emerald, standard price for everything else. I will have to say, one thing though, he doesn't sell or buy iron, which is an interesting thing. One thing when it comes to stock, I do hear a lot, he never has specific dyes in stock, which I will give him a bone. There's a lot of them, but still, he doesn't have dyes a lot. He has a lot of ice because we talked about that. Everything here in general, I at least know there's a few stacks of it in here. So in stocking, I'll probably give him... I'm gonna say 4, because I know those are all stocked, those are all stocked as well. So on stocking, I'll probably give him a 4. Prices, just looking at like, it's a block shop, these are pretty standard. Like, I know people are complaining about a sandstone price, which the sandstone price is kind of crazy considering it's sand, but still. Most other things are fine as well when it comes to a price for things, so I'm also going to give them a 4 in price. With that gives them a grand total of 9 out of 15 for the score, which is about middle ground average when it comes to Rathnir shops. So yes, again, I would recommend the Enchanted Eye for all your purchasing needs.